Yo, what is up? What's poppin'? You know it ain't no stopping. I am the International Sensei, and welcome to the Enter the Dojo podcast, your source for all things fighting related. And now it is time once again to welcome my friends to some more fight action across every faction. And this is a dope card. But before I get into this card, I do want to give a flashback to one of the last fight cards that they had, which was Covington versus Woodley. It was a fight that I did not expect going the way that it did. Tyron was talking about he was back, he was old Woodley, things like that. It didn't look like it. Still looked just, I don't know. Like, I think he's gotten into this habit of his career where he's just searching desperately for like that one knockout punch, and that's what he's relying on. And nobody has really given him that opportunity. He's gotten beat 15 straight rounds. Obviously he's been in there with some of the baddest dudes on the planet, but I feel like I said this before, but I feel like he needs to get not, I wouldn't say a layup fight, but an easier opponent. Like, I think he needs to get an unranked guy to kind of get his confidence back up, or at least like an attempt to get his confidence back up, because right now he's in like the lion's pit with some of the best, and he's just not being able to get over the hump. So I think there has to be something that he can, that his team can do, even if it's like not even necessarily doing in the UFC, but maybe doing like a grappling tournament or something to just kind of get his confidence back, because he always just seems super gun shy, but then he seems like incredibly trigger happy with that one shot, but he's gun shy with everything else. You know what I'm saying? So hope to see him bounce back. He is on a 3-fight skid, so it's really going to be a tough go if he is going to even sniff another title shot in the next couple years. He is old. He's getting older, so the next like 1 to 2 fights are going to be really important if he wants to get one more shot at tasting gold. But now it is the fight that we've been waiting for some years, actually. If you go back to the Joe Rogan podcast, you'll hear an episode where Israel Adesanya was saying how he wanted to fight Paulo Costa. And that was like right as he was, that might have been right after the Bronson fight or right before, which was like a while ago. And he was just saying how like he figures that the UFC is gonna get them together when he has a bigger name and Paulo has a bigger name, and lo and behold, he predicted the future. Obviously, I am a Stylebender fan. I think that Stylebender is going to take it. If I had to guess, I would say he's going to take it, I would say round 4 by TKO. Paulo, he is a big dude. He does tend to fade a tad bit in the later rounds. Israel has a great gas tank, really good movement, great technique. Has some good punching power. But just a freaking assassin. He's Anderson Silva 2.0. And I think that, but I do think that Paulo's going to be a rough one for him. I feel like it's going to be a very, very hard first 2 rounds for Izzy. He's going to really have to be careful because Paulo comes with the thunder. Non-stop pressure, really, really strong guy. He's not going to sit there like Yoel. That fight still pisses me off to this day. Not because I wanted Izzy to win again, but the fact that like you're in your 40s, bro, like you're not going to get, first of all, you should not have gotten that shot. And that was number 1. You're not going to get, probably never going to get another one again after the way you performed. You performed like shit. You sat there, you just danced around, fucked around for 5 rounds, and then you want to get on the microphone and try to talk to people like, oh, he was running. I'm like, look, he was doing what he had to do, and he wasn't even running. He was picking at you because you hit too fucking hard. I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and trade shots with probably one of the biggest power punchers in the division. Got a guy that walks around at like 220 and cuts to 185. That's a big gap in weight after you get rehydrated and you get that back up after a weigh-in. But yeah, that's just a side note. That fight still pisses me off. But I think that Paulo is going to give him a great fight. I think this could possibly be fight of the decade. They're saying fight of the year. I'm thinking fight of the decade, fight of the era, fight of the century. I think this is going to be an amazing fight. Yeah, I think if Paulo gets him, I think he'll get him round 2 maybe by TKO or knockout. But if I would say Izzy would probably take him out round 4 or win by decision. He's just so technical, man. Like, I mean, I love the way he fights. His head movement is so crazy, and I think one of the things is I wouldn't say he believes the hype, but he believes in the energy. Like, he believes in promoting himself, but he also understands he still needs to put that work in. And I think he's found that great balance of being like that star presence that a fighter needs to be in order to make money and make those ticket sales, like a John Jones or like a Daniel Cormier or like a Conor McGregor. But he also had a long enough career in kickboxing and a long enough career in other stuff before he came to the UFC, so he didn't really fall for like the pitfalls that a John Jones did. Because I mean, he's in his 30s, whereas like as a champion versus someone like John Jones who is 22, 23, and you're giving this kid all the money in the world and telling them that you can do what the hell you want to do, it's a big difference. Most young dudes are gonna fuck that up, and that's just being real. There are a lot of young dudes that would do well with it, but there are a lot of young guys that would fuck that up and fuck it up. Some of them would fuck it up worse than John Jones did, and still is. But anyway, I would say Izzy is he's definitely on his way. I think that if he's able to beat Paulo, he's really putting himself in rarefied air. I mean, back-to-back title defenses against really some huge names. I mean, and then obviously like the list is going to start to slim down just a tad bit because a lot of new guys are going to be up and coming because Kelvin Gastelum is on like a 3-fight skid now, so he's not going to be coming towards the title shot now. Robert Whittaker maybe. I think he probably has to get one more fight in. Darren Till probably has to get one more fight in at middleweight. So it's going to be interesting how things shake out after this fight is over, but I'm definitely pulling for the style bender. Co-main event, Reyes versus Blachowicz. I really wish we would have got Reyes-Jones 2. Jones is moving up to heavyweight. I mean, that's very strategic. I don't think he's running from him necessarily because he did beat the guy, but who knows? I mean, he's trying to change up, whatever. I would definitely have to take Reyes on this one just because I feel like Reyes is just going to be a little bit hungrier for the simple fact that he tasted UFC gold. He was right there, and a lot of people think that he did win that fight. You know what I'm saying? So there's a good chance that he's going to come out just guns blazing. I mean, such a good striker, so technical, really strong, great movement, real slim, real good body type. I'm liking Reyes in this. I would definitely, again, say probably by knockout, third round maybe. But yeah, Jan Blachowicz, he's no slouch. I mean, he is a beast, a monster, death in both hands. I mean, both of these divisions, like light heavyweight and middleweight, they're really, really improving a lot. I would love to see if Paulo would go to 285. I mean, no, not 285. Wow, 205. Which would be pretty dope. I mean, I think he has the size for it. I mean, because he walks around at like 230 or something crazy like that. So I mean, I would love to see him fight at light heavyweight one day if he ever got the opportunity. I feel like he would do a stellar job. Not that he doesn't do a stellar job at middleweight. I would just like to see it because I mean, there's some interesting matchups up there. Maybe he might be a little too short, or maybe his coaches think he's a little too short. I don't know, but it's going to be a great card, man. Fight Island, Style Bender versus the Eraser. Who do you guys have, man? Let me know. And for those of you who have asked me, how do I get this podcast out to more people? You share it. So you take the link on whatever application you are using, whether that is iTunes, whether that is Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever it is, take that link and share it. Put it on your Twitters, put it on your Instagrams. Tag me in it on Instagram. Tag me at international_sensei. Twitter, tag me at sensei_global21 and all that jazz. It is so much easier to get my name out there if you guys support your boy just by sharing it. It is a very simple thing and it is free to do. So please rocking out with the International Sensei and the Entity Dojo podcast crew. There is no crew, it is just me, but I wanted to squeeze a little bar in there, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, man, thank you so much for listening. And we must now exit the dojo. Us.